part that's under construction now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
So
We can use it wherever.
yeah, and you know the cost of this amphitheater very well. So all I have to do is at least expense $500,000 in order to get to 250.
Perfect.
Right.
So it shouldn't really be a problem that way.
Won't be hard.
Yeah. And this grant, there is strong competition for it, but there's a lot more money underneath this one. So in talking to the Department of Local Government, I think we feel pretty good that we can be pretty successful, hopefully, with this land and water one.
And you really think that the funding could be here by fall? Because I know that
They will probably make the announcements of who awarded by this fall through the governor's office. But probably once you get awarded, you have to go through all the other paperwork to get it set up. So probably the funding itself wouldn't come in until sometime after the first year or early spring.
Okay, I have a reading on the floor.
You need a motion. Excuse me, you need a motion. I haven't talked enough
I make a
today.
motion for first reading of resolution number 734, series 2023 by title only.
Second.
All in favor?
I have a comment.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll go along with this as long as it's paying for something that's already going on. Really don't see going forward too much with the indebtedness we're in and with the police building. I can't see borrowing more money for this project. If you say we can use this money for paying what we got going on, I agree with it. But other than that, going forward, I don't agree with that.
Well, and I hear where you're coming from, Vince. And there's got to be, we're going in phases. And right now we're going to finish the phases that we're in. And before we go on to another phase, but we have to make it, if we go on to another phase, it has to be something that is going to help. We just can't leave that set there. It has to be a parking lot or something. We're going to have to do something. So we need this money bad. So
Yes.
do I hear?
Yeah. And Vince, were you saying not anything outside of what we've already agreed to?
Right.
So we're not borrowing. This doesn't have anything to do with borrowing future money.
No, this is grant. Yeah, this is a grant. They're
Right.
50-50 split on the cash.
And it's cash we're already spending.
Yeah, it's
so
cash
it
we're
goes back
already
to
spending the
your
cash.
first question is we're already expending this money. We might as well try to offset it if we can be successful in this by maybe obtaining $250,000.
I appreciate your hard work on that, Dan.
Thank you.
Thank you. I have a first and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
A resolution relating to pre-application to the Governor's Office for Local Development for assistance under the 2023 Land and Water Conservation Fund Grant Program for the purpose of matching funds. This being a resolution, Madam Mayor, you may entertain a motion for passage.
so moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Matt, you might as well stay up there. First reading of resolution number 740, series 2023.
Thank you, Mayor. This is also another grant that's offered through the Department of Local Government. This is for Recreational Trails Program. This is one we've attained years ago when we first started our bike and ped trails at the end of Grassland Drive, and we used them on a few other little trail segments. This grant is an 80-20 match, similar to the other grants that we've gotten. The maximum amount is a $250,000 as well. And this one's going to be used more specifically to be able to provide the walkways and some of the trail system and the ability to connect up the regional trail that's already been constructed along Old Tillsville Road and in through our Veterans Park. So I feel that we're poised well to be able to potentially be successful in this grant application as well. And again, to offset costs that's already going to be incurred in order to get to the additional dollars.
So Matt, this is connecting the sidewalks to existing trails, and that's why it's a trails grant.
Right, recreational trails, and it'll offset some of the parking, because you're able to have some trailhead type parking facilities like around the proposed restroom building for these areas, so that it'll help offset some of those costs as well.
Yeah, that's really smart.
Yeah.
Is there a motion?
I make a motion for first reading of resolution number 740, series 2023 by title only.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
A resolution relating to pre-application to the Governor's Office for Local Development for assistance under the 2023 Recreational Trails Fund Grant Program for the purpose of matching funds. Again, Mayor, this being a resolution, you may entertain a motion for passage.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. First reading of resolution number 741, series 2023. I think Steve wants to talk to y'all about that.
Yeah. Yes, this is a revised detailed district development plan and landscape waiver at 2501 Technology Drive. This actual request was actually approved once before in 2019, but development plans are only good for 2 years, so they had to reapply for this request, which is really just to, this is the plan that was previously approved. On the left-hand side there, the yellow part is a small 190 square foot building addition. And then on the right-hand side, which is where the landscape waiver is, they wish to add 10 parking spaces because during shift change, they don't necessarily have enough parking and for the number of employees that they have on the property. Here's a closer look at that. So it's to the right of the entrance drive.
What's the name of the business?
I think Label Specialties. The development plan came in as LS Development, so
Well, I love it when there's shorter parking. That means they have employees.
exactly.
That our citizens are going to get their.
So this is the current plan. The only thing that's really changed on this is the colors that I use to identify the building expansion and the parking. There are 2 trees where that parking is that'll have to be removed, but they will replant elsewhere on site to make up for that tree canopy. Any
I'll make a
questions?
motion for first reading of resolution number 741, series 2023 by title only.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
A resolution relating to the approval of a revised detailed district development plan and landscape waiver as transmitted from the Louisville Metro Planning Commission for the following development: LS Development, 2501 Technology Drive. I'll adopt Mr. Rusi's summary as my own for the purposes of this resolution. It being a resolution, Madam Mayor, you may entertain a motion for passage.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. First reading of ordinance number 1437, series 2023. Got a motion?
Do I need to have a motion to discuss it? Because I'd like to know a little bit about it.
I can give you that before we start. This was requested by the Code Enforcement Department. We have one alcohol beverage control administrator, and when she's on vacation or she's not here, there's nobody to handle licensing and all the other jobs that go along with being an administrator. So the building inspector, Scott Thompson, is asked to be appointed deputy, and we have to have an ordinance providing for that. That's what this is. It's an amendment of a 1966 ordinance. We didn't have one back then.
I'll
Let
make a
me
motion.
explain something. When I became mayor, I moved one of the people that was in the revenue department over to Scott Thompson's in planning and permitting. And so now Scott has learned her job, and in case she's gone on vacation or whatever, he needs to be allowed to do this. So that's what that really is all about.
Make a motion to approve ordinance 1437 series 2023 as distributed.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Excuse me, that was for a first reading, not
First.
for approval. This is an ordinance. It takes 2 readings.
First reading.
That was first reading of ordinance.
Did you get the passage?
We got a first and a second.
Okay.
yeah.
We got a second.
Any discussion?
An ordinance relating to appointment of alcoholic beverage control administrator. This being an ordinance, it requires a second reading.
Thank
Our
you.
motion?
Really,
Next one.
Yeah, the next meeting.
Next meeting.
Okay. We'll do that next meeting.
Yes.
Okay. First reading of ordinance number 1438, series 2023.
Again, this is an ordinance that was requested by the building department. It's to increase the scheduling fees for things like encroachment permits and various building permits. It's amending a 1971 ordinance. At that time, the minimum was, or the maximum was $50 for residential and I believe $100 for commercial. And this is increasing those amounts. That's the purpose of this ordinance. This is for a first reading.
To what? Increasing to what?
Let's see,
Say in line.
I
with
think not
local.
to exceed $500.
$500,
$5,000 for
It was
residential.
500. We're changing that to 5,000. And that's for residential, and $50,000 for commercial properties. And again, these are the amounts that the code enforcement and building inspection people ask for.
So they're in line with like Louisville, I take it. Is that what we're?
I believe
basing
that's
it on
what,
the
I believe that's
increase?
what they're trying to do, but I will make arrangements for somebody from that department. Steve, is he already gone? Oh, he's still here. Steve, you want to explain that?
Yeah, this is in essence for, these are for bonds, so that, to ensure work is done. Right now, if a residential building permit comes in on a lot that's not in a currently active subdivision that like MSD has a drainage bond on, we can have them put up a bond amount that would be, allow us to come in and fix a problem if they fail to do that. So we would work with Public Works. They basically say the amount of the bond that they want. I think for residential, we said 5,000, up to 5,000, and 50,000 for commercial. They'll get the money back as long as they do what they're supposed to do on like grading and sidewalks and everything. So this just covers us. 1972, they had $500. The inflation's increased a bit. So the cost of materials and work, we had one that came in a couple weeks ago, and we looked at this ordinance and said, okay, Jimmy wanted 5,000, but the max we were allowed under that ordinance is 500. So that's what we set that bond at. So this just gives us some flexibility to request an amount that would cover if we have to go in and fix something.
Good explanation. Okay.
Makes sense.
Thank you.
Make a motion to approve ordinance 1438 series 2023 as distributed,
Second.
first reading or whatever.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
An ordinance relating to amendment of ordinance number 539, series 1971, as amended by ordinance number 543, series 1972, the establishment of a performance bond to guarantee proper surface water drainage of all new construction codified as section 151.03. And again, this being a ordinance, it requires a second reading.
Okay.
Thank you.
Committee reports. Pam, where?
Okay.
Damn, where?
A few things. We had our safety budget committee meeting today. My committee approved it to go to full council, which will be meeting of the whole, which will be May 16th. So you guys will see all that stuff. But, let's see. The other thing I want to bring up I'm not sure what it was called. Spring Fling or the craft fair we had. Yeah, that was really nice. I like that because the street got closed off back here. I'm not sure whose idea that was on Mill Street, but it didn't interfere with out here. Plenty of room for booze. It was really set up nicely. I liked it. And I'm excited about the nighttime stuff coming. Yeah, I agree. I mean, that street is just, it doesn't need to be open. I mean, for something like that, it was pretty nice. I like that. And of course the bed races, Carol, I'll let you go into that, but this is something that you have wanted time and time, every derby.
40 years.
Every derby.
Oh,
you have
just
never
like
done
I
it?
wanted water behind here. We finally got it after 40 years.
But it was a great idea that you had 40 years ago.
Thank
It
you.
finally happened.
Thank you. I will say all the events that have taken place here in the city in the last week was a very busy week, and we had a lot of stuff going on, and every one of them was more successful than the other one. From the art fair with the farmers market to Officer Wilt and the bed race last night. It has been a fantastic week, and thank you to everybody who participated in that thing. Pam,
That's
thank
all
you,
I have.
Pam. Okay. Mark,
No report.
Allison,
No report.
Tim,
Economic Development does not have a report.
Trina,
No report.
Vince,
Planning and zoning has no report.
Pam.
The only thing I have is I give Debbie kudos for everything that you and your husband did yesterday. It was amazing. Everything was
Very nice.
great.
That was nice.
It was a fun time for everybody, and thanks for all you do.
Okay. At
Mayor,
this,
can we call a recess before we go into council interviews, like a 10-minute,
right. If
5-minute?
we could have a 5-minute recess. Do I have a motion?
I'll second that.
Okay. Motion carried. We're going to take a 5-minute recess.
Is everybody good with that?
Yay. All approved.
All in favor?
All in favor. Yay.
Yay.
Okay.
All right, now we got it.
Are we taking a 5-minute recess? Are we taking a 5-minute recess?
So is that,
5 minutes is enough. Wish we had a bathroom back there.
I know, I did.
Well,
That'd be the next 40
that's
years.
the next thing.
first, second?
Oh, we
You know?
need one more bathroom. How many do we have?
We got 3 on the top floor.
10. There's 10 all the time.
None back here. Who would have thought that? We need a bathroom back there. I'm not gonna do it. We don't have the money. We use a crock pot or whatever. I mean, crock pot. What is it? Yes, I got it. Huh? I just get confused on my thing sometimes when I'm looking down, look at the right thing. There's a lot on there. There's so much going on in my head.
Oh, my goodness.
Now, when they get, a couple years, they're a little older. The kids all listen.
There's a bathroom there? No, I said we need a bathroom. Oh, I forget to see. How much room I had.
The job of the exorcist is to find out why is the devil there.
Oh, the boiler.
Welcome to this special edition of Full House.
She heard not being there, fan.
Perspective. I guess.
Yeah.
Been buddies since like 8th grade. No, I'm not.
That is the system and all of that.
Pam went, well, both Pams went, both Pams went.
had furniture coming and, you know, I couldn't reschedule it. Yeah, you haven't been doing anything.
I know. And then mom goes, can you get my trash? Can you get, my mom got me. I should be like, I'm very happy.
Yeah, amen.
I told her tomorrow. I said, why did you get glazed donuts? Why did you get this pie? Why did you get? She had some, didn't have a Butterfinger in front of his eyes.
Oh, jeez.
I'm sure every time to my siblings, they're starting to Mountain Dews.
Oh,
all
God.
this shit. And I was like, and I said, this is grandma's, this is mom's. Wow, she takes a bill for it. I'm like, oh my God.
Look at Bill. Let's go.
So Shirley says, I take a bill for it. She's like, here she goes.
Y'all kind of reconvene yourselves.
Yeah, I got you.
That what?
Which is okay. I got no problem.
About?
Oh,
Let me start it off.
I know, it's. I was wanting her to get up here.
I make a motion. We reconvene the meeting.
No, after this,
I make a motion.
but it's, but
Mayor, it's been 5 minutes. Let's go.
I don't think they heard what you said. I'll take
Doesn't
it.
matter. Doesn't matter. You gotta tell it.
I second it.
Wait, she can second it now. Now Mayor's gotta say something.
All in favor?
Does the mayor have to say that?
I know, I like this. I like it. It's good. That's a good suit.
That could be another problem we've been discussing.
oh, yeah.
Are we gonna read this?
I don't know if if that's a candidate. Did they set it in time? 5-1, when was the deadline? We'll ask.
Mayor, we have a motion to reconvene.
And a second. And a second.
Got a first and a second.
First and a second.
Say all in favor.
You know what I'm talking about?
Any discussion?
All in favor?
Say all.
Favor.
Aye.
Motion
Opposed?
carried.
Okay.
Okay. At this time, I would like to turn it over to Fred. I know your name.
Fred.
Sanders.
Standards.
Fred.
Thank you, Mayor. At this point, the city council is going to be interviewing candidates for the vacancy on the city council. This is pursuant to KRS 83A 040 sub 5, which gives that authority and discretion to the city council. It has nothing to do with past elections. We've done this probably in the 31 years I was here earlier. We did it 3 or 4 times. And I think you all have done it in the last 8 or 10 years. And I think a few times the issue's been raised about people inquiring about whether the person who was 9th the last time, I think earlier on, we only had 6 members of the city council and the 7th person. And I think in 3 or 4 of those times, the 9th person was not chosen, and in 1 or 2 they were. So I wanted to get that out. It was brought up in the last meeting. I wanted to say that now. The process for this evening, excuse me, each candidate will be called in alphabetical order to make a 5-minute presentation. When the first candidate is called, the remaining candidates will be asked to wait in the outside hallway with the door shut right out there in order to make this a fair proceeding so that whoever goes first doesn't get rebutted by the next 5 people that are going along. So if you'll go along with us, we'd appreciate it. When the first name is called, the remainder of you step out into the hallway, and Chief, if you'd see the doors remain shut and all that sort of thing. Once,
Thank you.
and once a speaker has spoken, having having spake, he may, or they're all he's, I guess, yeah. He may remain in the room after he speaks. Of course, he can't say anything at that point. So they could remain in after they speak. I was up in my office all day today without talking to
Here,
anybody,
I'm
and I've
giving you
lost my
some
voice.
candy.
Maybe candy would help, yeah. Following all the presentations, the council will then prepare to executive session, at which point they will deliberate on choosing a replacement for the vacancy. That being said, Mayor, you may call the first candidate who I
Mayor, I have a
believe.
question.
I don't
Before,
have the list.
I've got it here.
before we call the first one,
Yeah.
I have one question.
Fire away.
Are all the candidates who submitted their intent prior to our deadline here tonight?
Yes.
No,
No,
No, not tonight.
we
not
have
all
a
of
letter.
Okay, so there's one candidate who submitted a letter prior to the deadline?
Yes.
Okay.
This would be discretionary with you, with the city council. And my suggestion would be that letter be read openly after all the other candidates speak,
Yep, sounds good.
if everybody's okay with that.
I just wanted to make sure we got it because I think the council received the letter after the deadline. I wanted to make sure it was received by you, Bill, before the deadline.
He'd already spoken to me.
Okay, great.
And Fred and I had a conversation, and Fred said, let him write a letter it's like giving a resume. So,
Sounds good.
yeah, everybody that's on the list, there was 2 we didn't hear from. So there were 6. That's 5 in person and 1 with the letter.
And also part of that conversation was, again, it's discretionary with you as a city council because you did outline guidelines about appearances. But if it's okay with the city council to accept that letter, you can read that into the record as the 6th or 7th, whichever the last one is.
6th. And he's actually in alphabetical order too. He is the last one. So,
And
and if I can make a statement, guys, when you talk,
Oh, they're
I'm
all-
gonna hold up my fingers. So just look over at me every once in a while, and that'll give you like how much time's on you got left. That way
Frank's here.
you can kind of get yourself
Thanks first.
to finish up if you don't mind.
They're already on.
Oh,
Well, you can tell. Frank needed to know that, but you can tell the
yeah,
others when they
Frank,
come
Frank
in.
knows it.
I'll tell them
10.
when they come in. Okay.
Frank will take all their time.
Mayor, do you want me to call them out in alphabetical order?
Yes, you've got,
I do
you
have,
got
I
the
have a
whole
list
paperwork.
that Mr. Fox provided. Frank Abel, would you step forward, please?
Chief.
Testing.
That mic sometimes works and sometimes it doesn't.
I've turned it up. It should work all the time.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Go ahead and get started, Frank.
Yeah.
You want to start? Okay. Mayor Pike and members of the council, my name is Joseph Frank Abel. I was born and raised in Marion County and have resided in Kentucky my entire life. I moved to Jefferson County directly out of college, and I've lived in J-Town now for the past 27 years. I'm married to Carol, who is a retired JCPS middle school teacher, and we have 2 grown sons. I'm a lifelong Catholic and a member of St. Gabriel Church. My employment history included time as a corrections officer, a senior corrections technician, a social worker, and probation officer for Jefferson Juvenile Court, and also spent 26 years in circulation management and supervision for the Courier Journal. I have a lengthy history of involvement in volunteer work, going back to right after I married Carol in 1979. I first volunteered with Catholic Charities as a friendly visitor for children residing in St. Thomas, St. Vincent Children's Home, and then later St. Joseph's Children's Home. I've delivered food for several years to homeless shelters for Kentucky Harvest. I once taught a project business class to middle school students for junior achievement. And I eventually became a CASA volunteer,
CASA meaning Court Appointed Special Advocate for Children. Later on, I worked my way back to Catholic Charities, where I served as a tutor for elderly refugees attending citizenship and ESL classes. And finally, I served a 3-year sworn term as a member of the Jefferson County Citizen Foster Care Review Board. Upon considering retirement in the summer of 2020, my biggest problem, the biggest thing I had to worry about was, what am I going to do with all this free time? Well, within 2 weeks of retirement, I started volunteering for the Salvation Army 2 days a week. I eventually joined their disaster response team, and I've already served 2 short deployments, one in Louisiana and one in Eastern Kentucky. The volunteer coordinator at Salvation Army eventually invited me to attend a meeting of the Louisville Kiwanis Club. I joined the Louisville Kiwanis Club, and that led to an appointment to the board of directors of the Louisville Regional Science and Engineering Fair. Also, directly after retirement, as you, I'm sure, are very well aware of, I started attending J-Town City Council meetings. Over the last 2.5 years now, I've probably come to 90 to 95% of the meetings. The idea of coming to these meetings came from the fact that my father, back in the day, served 2.5 terms on the city council in in Lebanon, Kentucky, which is in Marion County, of course. Something else I failed to mention earlier is that I just retired in February after serving 40 years as a high school basketball official with the KHSAA and the KBOA. I ran for this office last year because I like the way this council operates and I like the way that all of you effectively work together to get things done. State and federal, another big thing is the fact that this position is nonpartisan. That's very big for me because, as we all know, in state and federal governments, Democrats and Republicans alike constantly fight and bicker. They don't want to cooperate. They don't want to compromise, and nothing gets done. And things are resorted to name calling and other forms of ridicule amongst members. A couple of weeks ago, I looked on my phone and I noticed I had received a social media post that said that J-Town was the best neighborhood to live in Jefferson County. And, no problem there. I agree with that 1,000%. My campaign material last year listed a motto of keep J-Town strong. I don't think there's a person in this room that truly thinks that J-Town is not a great place to live. I feel that my diverse background and variety of experience clearly shows that I am fit to become a member of your team and to help keep J-Town strong. At this time, I humbly request that you allow me to take on my greatest, most challenging volunteer opportunity to date, and that is to serve on the city council right here in J-Town. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Frank.
Thanks, Frank.
Great presentation.
And thank you for volunteering.
Hey, Frank, may have some questions. Are we allowed to ask questions?
Absolutely.
Well, we can ask a question.
That's okay.
Yeah. So, Frank, what do you think are the major issues impacting Jeffersontown? And then how would you try to address those?
Okay. I don't really see where J-Town has a lot of problems right now. I think people's biggest concern is how we spend our money. There are some people that are worried about the amount of money that we spent on the new police department and the amphitheater. And they just want to make sure that we stay out of debt. And as far as addressing it, all I can do is help, do like the rest of you and keep monitoring our finances, keep a good relationship with Mr. Fox over here because I think he's the finance man, and just make responsible decisions based on the evidence at hand.
Great. Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.
Good job. Is that it? Any other questions?
No.
Thank you, Frank.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.
Who's next?
Ready for the next,
He's good.
ready for the next one, Mayor?
Yeah. Oh.
Chief, if you'd get Kevin Carmen. Chief Romley.
How long ago was that?
Good God.
Just been thinking about it.
Kevin,
Hello,
did
Kevin.
Chief tell you about the 5 minutes?
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna have my hand up.
I appreciate it. Yeah, we tried to tell Aaron that meant 5, not 50. So we think he understands now. Thank you. Number one, I just want to say to the council members, thank you for giving all of us the opportunity, the ones who are out there, to be able to come before you. You've got a good group to pick from. You really do. I think all have their hearts in the right places. They want to do things for the city. A lot of you know me up there. I'm just going to kind of just do a quick review. You know who I am, and I'm what you see. I've been a resident here for 35 years, the last 30 in Chenoweth Hills. We've raised both our boys here. I think the city taught them a lot, had an impact on them to give back. Both of them are in law enforcement, with my son Joey, a sergeant with the sheriff's office, and Matt being a sergeant with J-Town. I served on the police department from 88 to 2008. I think I got a lot of insights doing that. Teaching DARE, I got to see the importance of, with over 1,000 students that I dealt with, that the city can have with our young people and our young population out here. And you all have continued it with our parks and recreation. The fact that I did crime prevention, I got to meet a lot of our leaders in the industrial park, at the business fairs, to find out how important this industrial park is to the way of life that we're able to do for our citizens in the city, and the things that we can do and the quality of life. As a patrolman, I saw the difference that officers make on a daily basis in a small town to try to change people's lives for a positive. And a lot of times you don't see the best, but you get so much more out of it than you ever give back to the city. I believe that. I was one of the first CIT officers for crisis intervention team. By dealing with that, you deal with a lot of hurt, a lot of toughness, dealing with mental health issues and suicidal situations. But it gave me an insight that us as a city government can help people who do deal with mental health issues. And we have so much more of that now since COVID. I think that's something I can bring. I understand the departments up here, the public works with Jimmy, with our code enforcement, ABC. I've worked hand in hand with them. I know the challenges that they deal with. I know public works, when we have a storm, having to be out in the middle of the night pushing snow or being out cutting trees. I know how hard they work, and I know how important they are to our city. One thing that I did, I served 11 years in the U.S. Army Reserves. I left as a rank of captain. It taught me being able to do budgets for our annual trainings. It taught me that I had to work with my lieutenants. I had to work with people above me to the lowest ones below me to get the mission accomplished, and to see that at the end, it didn't matter who got the credit, but that the mission was done. One thing that I was blessed, I got to work for 2 great chiefs, and the mayor was a little bit ahead of me on that with Chief Romley and Chief Sanders. Yeah, that one, Carol, you'll never live down. But I got to see leadership in action. I got to see 2 chiefs who taught me leadership of listening to other people, listen to their ideas. Maybe you learned something you didn't know before, but I also learned from them, in the end, you have to make the tough decisions. You have to be willing to live with that decision you make and go home and sleep at night. And I give them credit for that. I presently serve as the Dean of Students and Security Manager for Whitfield Academy, private Christian school. I've got over almost 900 students daily that I deal with, from discipline all the way to family issues. I'm always having to find better ways to try to come up with answers to help our students, our staff, our families. It can be trying sometimes, but it's taught me, again, to listen and to find out what people's hearts are and to truly try to help people. In the end, I guess for me, the big thing is this city's had a big effect on me. It really has. This has been my life for almost 35 of my 59 years in one way or another. I've seen the city grow far from what it was when I came in 88. I've seen the things the city can do. Having worked with Metro government, having worked with the old county, the city, they do great things. They cannot do what the city does. They do not have the one-on-one that you as council members can do. I would like to have that opportunity, but regardless of the fact, you have a great group to pick from. You got a tough job to do, and I'm just respectful of the fact that you gave us this opportunity to come before you. And I just would tell you that whatever choice you make, I appreciate it, and that I'm just grateful to have the opportunity to talk to you.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you, Mayor.
You sure you don't want to come back as a police officer?
I've thought about it a few times, and I thought I need to have my head examined.
Hey, Kevin.
Kevin, I got a question.
I've got one question.
What do you think are some of the major issues facing J-Town, and how would you try to address them?
I think to me, from my perspective, it's something from a crime standpoint. We're dealing with the same issues in J-Town. We dealt with it when I left in 08. But to see now with the fentanyl, with the methamphetamine coming back after the heroin had overwhelmed us, we can live in a cocoon and say, well, that's just West Louisville. That's the South End. No, it's here.
Here.
You all see it daily when the chief does his reports. I think that's one of the biggest issues, but I think also things that you all have done with the Angel program. I think there's other things we can do. I've always believed if you don't change the heart and try to help the heart of some of this, we can't arrest our way out of it, but we have to have a police department that's strong doing that. I think for us with the growth that the city's had y'all have added so many areas since I've retired. I think that's a challenge of making sure that we keep the same services that we've had when we were smaller that we have as we get bigger. And I think with the leaders that you all put in positions, we're in a great shape. But I think crime, the drug problem, and I think just being able to provide those same services. Years ago, Carolyn, you may be able to help me here. We had signs out here that said, I think, big city professionalism, small town feeling, or something like that. To me, that says who J-Town was. No matter how big we go, that would be something I would hope we would always keep.
We used to put where Louisville does business, Jeffersontown.
Yep, that was it too.
We have more hotel rooms than Louisville does.
Me and you've been here way too long.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
So Kevin, you're retired from
Yep.
J-Town Police Department?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and you work full-time at Whitfield Academy?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, at least for 5 or 6 more, as long as my health holds up and I can still deal with the people I'm dealing with security wise, I plan on being around a little bit longer. I love being with the kids. They keep me young.
Yeah.
They really do. I get more from them than they get from me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
Thank you all again.
You can stay in now, you know.
Okay, thank you.
Who's next?
Aaron Dunn. Checking these off. This phone call.
Ron D, ABCD.
That's it. I just called her.
Good evening.
Good evening. Hi, Aaron.
I didn't know whether to start with a joke or not until you, congratulations, I did vote for you.
Thank you.
It was a little awkward, in the back of the room.
I didn't vote for you, but can you help me?
I tried to keep it simple. So I wrote my stuff down, so I'm going to go ahead and read it to you, and then if I have any questions. But for you guys that don't know me, my name's Aaron Dunn. I'm speaking today in hopes to fill the vacant city council seat. I've lived 51 years in Jeffersontown. Growing up, I went to St. Edward's and Jeffersontown High School. Also attended Jefferson Community College with studies in fire science. Also a member of St. Edward's Parish. As a kid, I was blessed to have a father who served the city of Jeffersontown. Richard Dunn served as Public Works Director, City Councilman, and Assistant Mayor to Daniel Ruckriegel. My grandfather had a family business as a chiropractor in Jeffersontown. He also served as a board member with the Jeffersontown Fire Department, and he also served the city of Jeffersontown on one of the first planning and zoning committees. Growing up, the city of Jeffersontown was home. My dad took us to work sometimes at Public Works and even to City Hall. I remember we were all one big happy family. At a young age, I learned Jeffersontown will always be home and my safe place. After high school, I knew I wanted to serve our city and had joined the fire department as a volunteer firefighter. I wanted to give back to Jeffersontown. While being a volunteer, my twin brother Eric and I started Gaslight Lawn and Landscape. Today, we are co-owners and manage our company of 35 years. Shortly after that, I was offered a full-time career in Jeffersontown and couldn't have been more proud to accept. On March 1st, I retired from Jeffersontown Fire Department after 32 years of service to our town. My brother still serves as a battalion chief with 30 years service to Jeffersontown. I retired as a major on the command staff and training division chief in charge of training 80-plus firefighters and being the safety officer on fires and rescues. Over the past 32 years, I've had thousands of hours in leadership classes. I was going to make a joke on that, but Rick Sanders is here, and I know he's probably got more hours than me. Coming from a family who loves our city and has dedicated our lives to the city of Jeffersontown, my proudest moment was last year when the tradition carried on. My 19-year-old son talked to me about wanting to serve as a firefighter in Jeffersontown. As of this May, he will have completed his first year as a full-time firefighter EMT with the Jeffersontown Fire Department. Our family loves Jeffersontown. We love to serve our community and the families of Jeffersontown. I support the city and all of our businesses every day. I couldn't be more proud to call Jeffersontown my home, the perfect place to live, work, and have fun. For years, there was an ongoing joke at the firehouse that I would never leave J-Town, not even to go on vacation. Well, however, I will go on vacation, but I will never leave Jeffersontown. Our town is paradise to me and my family. I wanted to give those of you who don't know me a chance to understand my deep Jeffersontown roots and the love I have for our town. I also want each of you to know how hard I will work to keep our town great. I will work with our new mayor and city council to make each of you shine, as well as our town, the best city it can possibly be. Leadership is not about being the best. Leadership is about making everyone else better. Keeping Jeffersontown the best and working hard with each of you to accomplish that common goal for the great citizens of Jeffersontown. In closing, I would like to thank the mayor and the city council for the continued support and the opportunity to speak and let you get to know I share the love for the city that you all do. I look forward to working with you in the future.
Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you.
We might have a couple questions for you.
All right.
Aaron, I've got a question for you.
Okay.
What do you think are some major issues in Jeffersontown, and how would you try to address them?
Major issues. I'm not sure of the major issues. I don't know of any major issues we have. The things that, I would
Tell you about them.
well,
Call me, I'll
maybe
tell
you could
about
tell me about them, but, obviously, keeping it a safe place, public safety is always a big concern for me. Obviously, coming from the fire department and working with the police every day, public safety is always a big one for me. Keeping companies in here and keeping our industrial park going. I think we're doing a lot of good things with the streetscapes, with the new amphitheater and stuff. I really love seeing all that. One thing I was going to say too is I'd love to see us get another chow wagon out here. Everybody complains about going downtown, but I'd love during
That would be
Derby
fun.
to have another chow wagon up here. But I don't know of any major problems that we have. I think they're all workable problems, especially with the new city council and the mayor. And I think they're all problems that we can solve together.
Awesome. Thank you.
And I agree with that. We have came in and, I came in as new as you were coming in, and it's been a challenge for me. And what I've gone through in the last 120 days, I didn't expect. And you know what? We're getting there, and we're going along, and the sky's brighter.
Well, the good thing too is I come from the fire department. I have a chief, and I'm a part of his command staff. So it's like having a mayor and a city council.
Right.
I work with him every day. Our job is to make the mayor look good, make each other look good, and solve the problems. You surround yourself with smart, intelligent people that all have the same common goal, and you fix the problems. So I don't think there's any problem and as long as I've been around J-Town, there's not any major problems that we can't handle together and fix.
That's true.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you all for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron.
You ready, Mayor?
Yes.
Mike Mason.
I think he sees him walking away. It's like cheers.
You good? Madam Mayor, Council, thank you very much for the opportunity to speak before you today. Excuse me. I really hate that for the circumstances in which I'm here. I didn't know Ronnie until later in life, but his service to our community was invaluable. And one of the things I really appreciated about Ronnie was some of the stories that I heard about him early in life before I knew him, when he was owned Commonwealth Ambulance Company, and just how he used his business to serve our community, how he used his platform on the council to do that as well. And I hope that if I'm chosen, that I could do the same thing. So along that, in J-Town, everybody's family, right? Where everyone is family. That's the motto of the city. And so I think I'll just start right there with my family. I'm married 27, getting ready to celebrate our 27th year in marriage. Had to think about that, right? So
Good recovery.
I have two kids, both that live in J-Town. One of them is married, and I have two grandchildren. Excuse me. In full disclosure, my grandchildren are foster children, but I would tell you that they are my grandchildren. But should the case arise where some unfortunate circumstance happens where they go back to their family, I just want to make sure that that's well known. My daughter was a cheerleader at J-Town. My son was a baseball and football player where I coached and served in the community there. Want to hit on some of the things that my involvement in the community. So I graduated like everybody else here. There's no question about the passion that everyone here has for the city of J-Town. I graduated from J-Town in 1993, and then earned my Bachelor of Science in Business Administration with a major in finance from the University of Louisville. So I have a background in finance. Obviously, I have a business here in J-Town as well. We employ about 25 people, so we contribute to the tax base as well. So it's in my best interest that our community is well represented. Volunteerism is a big deal for me. We have mowed the historic German Reformed Presbyterian Cemetery for nearly 20 years now. So we're not a flash in the pan. We're not here to do something that looks good on paper, looks good on a resume. We're a part of the community, and we will be no matter what the outcome of today is. I've also, and this is not easy for me because I'm not a super tell you how I am, but I want to make sure that what I've done in the community is recognized by this council, because I do believe that it's warranted and it is exemplary. I was awarded the Going the Extra Mile from the city of J-Town in 2012. That was to our service to the Skyview Park, where I personally had spent many hours and dedicated many hours to that facility to help improve the baseball community for our boys and girls in the J-Bass community. I'm also the chairman of the Board of Adjustments for the city of J-Town. Through that, I've also achieved my level 1 certificate through the Kentucky League of Cities. I've received my level 1 achievement in city governance through the amount of time that I've spent trying to better myself and service our community. I was awarded Volunteer of the Year 2009 through the Snow and Ice Management Association, which is a North American association where I served on the board for 6 years, which gives me, I would say, an advantage over my competitors. I've worked with others. I've managed budgets. I can work together to accomplish goals. When I started on that board, we were barely breaking even. After 6 years, one of those years being president, we had over $1 million in cash in the bank, and we were buying a building for the association. So just utilize that just to show that I can work together with others and accomplish goals. I guess in Bill's giving me in summary, I will say that I'm not here for gain. I'm here to give. And I don't need this. I don't need this. Actually, it's probably an economic detriment for me to be on the city council based on the business that I do with the city of J-Town. But I am filled up through service to the community, and I feel like this is the next step in my career. So I believe that you guys will be fair and judicious in this process, and that I trust that if I am selected to the council, I can assure you that I will serve the citizens of Jeffersontown with honor, integrity, and humility. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Yeah.
Questions?
Yeah. Hey, Mike, I've got
Yes,
a
sir.
question. What do you think are the major issues in Jeffersontown, and how would you try to address them?
I think the major issues in Jeffersontown right now are the financial situation with the projects. I think we're completely over budget and we're going into debt. And I have, with my finance background, as well as being able to be a part of solving situations like this, I have that experience. And I think that's the biggest thing. I think the previous administration left us in a good spot. And I know that some people may disagree with that, but I think that our situation is we are where we are, right? We can't go back. It is what it is, but we have to put people in place that can make the tough decisions, that have the understanding of the finances to move the city forward in the best way and not put us back 20 years ago in the debt that we had back then.
Won't happen while I'm here.
Yes, ma'am.
One question.
Yes, sir.
What's your business? The name of your business?
The name of the Lawn Pro.
Lawn.
Yes, sir. Yeah. For tax purposes or our actual incorporated, we are Vest Incorporated, doing business as the Lawn Pro. So if you look us up and you don't find Lawn Pro, that's where you would find us with the state of Kentucky.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Nope. Thank you. Nadia.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was a tough decision.
Yeah.
Ready, Mayor?
I am.
Kevin Rich.
Hello, Mayor. Hello, Council.
Hello. How you, Kevin?
Good. Thank you for giving us all the opportunity for the chance to serve our city and be appointed to the city council.
Pull your mic down a little
Pull
bit.
your mic down a little.
Okay. Is that better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. My name is Kevin Rich, and I'd be honored to be appointed and serve the city council for our great city of Jeffersontown. I've lived in Jeffersontown for 48 years. My dad is a retired police officer for the Jeffersontown Police. Sitting back here in the back, supporting me. And my niece is a school teacher at Carruthers Middle School. I also have a daughter that's 13 years old. Her name's Anne Marie Rich. I'm engaged to Janet Graff. Her dad, Smokey, was assistant chief for the Jeffersontown Fire Department, and her sister is currently the historian for the Jeffersontown Fire Department at this time. I've owned a business in Jeffersontown, Louisville Investigations Incorporated, for 28 years. I've been a member of the Jeffersontown Masonic Lodge for 28 years, and in 2003, the lodge, when I was master, donated a defibrillator to the city. We also participate in many community events, and I have been doing a Blues Brothers Act for 18 years, and we participate in many gaslight events throughout the years. In the Masonic Lodge, they ask a question: where were you first prepared to become a Mason? And the answer is in your heart. And that is how I feel about the city council. Before I decided to run, I became a city councilman in my heart. Now, I'm not here to pull the wool over your eyes, and I'm not here to make you think I'm something I'm not. I have no political experience. I have no experience in running the city. But again, I've owned a business for 28 years, and I have the dedication and love for our city, our residents, all the departments that keep our city moving, and of course, the first responders. I work well with others, and I listen to all the issues before making my decision. I feel like I would be an asset to our community and the city council. I end this by saying again, I have no political experience and no experience running the city, but I'm genuine. I work hard with others, and I'm a good listener. And I'm prepared in my heart to become a city councilman before I ever put myself on the ballot. Thank you again for this opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey,
We have
Kevin.
some questions, huh?
Yes.
What do you think are some major issues in J-Town, and how would you try to address them?
Well, I would like to look and see what we're working on now and go from there and address them as we go. And I'm sure there's a lot we need to do. Safety, as the guy said up here about the racing down the street, we need to address that. We need to make sure all of our departments have what they need to do the job. And I'd get there and work hard for the city and put my heart into it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, are you all going to, we have no more candidates, but we have a letter.
There's the letter of Mr. Wimsett. I don't have it. Does anybody have a copy of that letter?
I have it on my phone.
Allison
You have
has
it?
it.
Allison.
You want to read it?
I'll try.
I'll read it.
I was telling them my voice is kind of gone because I was sitting up in that office all day
Want me to
without
read it?
talking to anybody. I think I can do it.
I can do it.
I didn't get to talk to anybody today.
Now you're making up for it.
Thank you.
Now you're talking.
Okay, this letter is from Brian K. Wimsett. Dear Council and Mayor Pike, I apologize for not being able to attend the next council meeting for your interviews. I'm going to be out of town and I cannot rearrange my meetings due to others' schedules. The reason I ran to be on the council is I feel my background and experience could really be an asset to the city. I currently run 3 successful businesses out of my office located off Lynn Station Road. I designed and developed Brookstone Estates subdivision, which is 45 lot subdivision that runs between Gaudette Road and Bayport Road. This brought 45 more families to Jeffersontown. It raised the tax base by more than $5.5 million and is a real positive to the community. I designed, built, and own 21 apartments off College Drive. This has brought more than 42 people that can walk, eat, and drink in downtown Jeffersontown. I live in Jeffersontown and own a few other pieces of property in the city. I also own 2 other properties that are about to be annexed into the city. I'm in the process of totally rehabbing and cleaning up a property at 3427 Maple Avenue. Ride by and see how nice it's going to be. I developed 2 other subdivisions outside of J-Town. I'm telling you all this so you know my experience. There's not much I don't know about designing and building roads or infrastructure. I'm going to have to respectfully disagree with this process. The great people of Jeffersontown are the ones who determine who sit on the city council through the voting process. I came in 9th in the general election. I was 31 votes short of being on the council. I feel you should honor the voters' request and appoint me as the next council person. Sincerely, Brian K. Wimsett.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I got it.
I've got a question. I've got a question, Fred.
I would like to say,
I don't have any answers.
That's no comment.
No comment.
I would like to comment that I want everyone here to understand, and Mr. Wimsett as well, that I do not have a vote in this process. I'm simply listening.
I make a motion to go into executive session
To discuss.
to discuss.
If I could I give you a background for the motion and it could be adopted? And that it is that the city council pursuant to KRS 61-810 sub 5 is going to into executive session to deliberate on what they've heard at this presentation today. Specifically, it says in the statute, discussions which might lead to the appointment of an individual member. That's what we're here for today, is to appoint an individual member, not to discuss policy and personnel issues. And again, this will be deliberation under subsection 1J with respect to quasi-judicial body regarding an individual appointment. And that's what can be discussed in the executive session. If I could hear a so moved.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
All right, so let's go.
Yeah, there's chairs. And there's water.
You got a refrigerator. Like a little courtroom.
Fred, will you keep order in here? Fred Romley, will you keep order?
That's where my son is.
Jimmy, they had a street on 60. Yeah. Were they scheduled or were they set? Yeah. I mean, I hate that people do it just for the dirt. Who does? Really? Yeah. Did you go to the Quest to get your money out? But like, you know, so- I bet that was, I saw it. Yeah. saw the video that made out of you being such a bad mom, you know it's really. Yeah. The follow-up meeting. It's a great spring break. It's a great break. It was he's the one that set it up trailer and he's like, been out there earlier, so I this and that. I don't know. Yeah. But, yeah. No, he was supposed to finish by, Brandon in my house. Are you okay? And so he said, like an hour later, he said, yeah, I thought that, and he goes, I'm not. Went, okay, he goes, but I'll come out another night. I said, well, how bad is your? It's a handrail for me. I've got kids coming in Friday. I need to make sure nobody fell over the edge.
I bet the kids that are coming to your house.
Well, that's what, one of them is, I'm making him do a reinforcement, because I'm like, I remember this, split that thing like that. So. I bet you thought it was me. Ha ha ha. That was in Truck 18 yesterday. Well, it worked out because, Ricky and Tommy brought it, so. Oh, okay. Oh, I got you, yes. I see, yeah. We came home in last night, so I saw those. But, the lights are on, so I came in last night. Field eight. There is a gate on there. Are you talking about? Yeah, there is a girls' gate. We left there about 10. That's happy was, it's just, I believe. I feel, they're getting mad, and so. Cause this is not third or fourth time. Schrader's going to win the regional game, yes. The game was like 11:30. You know what I'm saying? And it came on, that was. The irrigation comes. Oh. Here I go. I was there. No, it was when they wanted to go regional. Yeah, they were playing West Louisville. It was like 11:30 at night. Yeah. It was, yeah. We were all up. I'm just saying the bathroom right here. Oh, man. I don't have a dog in the fight anyway. We're back there tearing each other apart. It's a hard city. We're drinking back there. That worked out awesome. Oh my gosh, the news company and bringing all that in. Okay. Good, 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 good. He's with the- Yes. I didn't even pick up on it, Carol. That didn't even funny.
The German soldiers coming in.
There was so much on my notes. There was so much on my notes. Jim was here to keep on. And Jim, you were here in Chief Rollins' time. You know, Mike, that. You hear me? Yeah. Yeah. I said, you were here during Chief Rollins' time. Yeah. I know. I said, yeah, so was I. So went back in time. No. See bathroom breaks. Talk about Chief Rollins. Yeah.
Still want Carol's.
I don't want to know. So you're gonna make a statement?
Oh, for God's sake.
That old, yeah, I can still hold on to it.
Yeah. Vince went to the bathroom. I think
Who
Tim,
are we missing?
Vince and Tim are in the bathroom. Vince and Tim are in the bathroom.
Everybody had to go to the bathroom.
Vince
You
is in the
decide
bathroom.
on what dress you're gonna wear?
He got mad and
Don't
left.
reconvene. Oh, there he is.
I know.
I should have gone to the bathroom earlier.
When are you going, 30?
Okay, I guess we need to make a motion that we reconvene.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Madam Mayor, if I could, there has been deliberations pursuant to KRS 61-810. No final action was taken in that room, and you may now entertain such motions as the council may wish to make.
So moved.
I'd like to say something. I'd like to make a motion, but before I do, I'd just like to say that it was a tough discussion we had, and every one of you guys are amazing, and it's hard. I've been in this seat before where we had to fill a vacant spot, and it's never easy.
Not fun.
They're always different. You never know what process you're gonna do. And Vince, I really liked your ideal of the 8 people that were in the general election to let just them come up. That was a great ideal, Vince. But anyhow, I would like to make a motion that we filled our empty seat with Kevin Carmen.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
No, you need to ask for opposition.
Hmm?
Any opposition?
Any opposition?
Any discussion?
Now you can say.
Now motion carries.
Motion carried. Well, Kevin Carmen, welcome to the city council.
I would like to say one thing, that it was a very, I was impressed by everybody that put their hat in the ring. I congratulate them, and you'll get your shot.
A year and a half, we got a new election coming up, right?
Yep. Yep.
We're gonna
Thanks
swear
again
them
for
in?
thanks again for everyone that came
Gonna
up
swear
here
them in?
standing
Thank you all.
Thank you.
standing in front of a crowd of trying to talk about how yourself and try to sell yourself is very hard. So you guys did a great job. Thank you all for the community service. Thank you all for coming up here, and hope we get to work together. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome. I didn't have anything to do with it. I was up there. Kevin, Fred, do you swear him in now?
I'm going to, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
You can close the meeting if you want. I
Do
can,
you have any mayor remarks before we end the meeting?
Okay, yeah, I have a couple remarks.
Do we want to swear him in before the remarks or do?
He can
what
come
do we
up
want to
and-
do, Fred, or after the
Jesus,
meeting?
what?
Mayor, do you want to, you can swear him in too. Either one of us.
I've got enough on my mind.
I can't imagine that.
I can't even find Chief Romley tonight. You go ahead. Fred, you go ahead.
Okay, thank you. And nobody gets the snicker during this. I think I've explained to everybody how this came about in the adoption of the Constitution when all the legislators' sons were lawyers and they were dueling each other and killing each other. They figured this might stop it. Well, too bad it did. If you'd raise your right hand, please, and state your full name. I
I, Kevin Dale Carmen,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and be faithful and true
and be faithful and true
to the Commonwealth of Kentucky,
to the Commonwealth of Kentucky,
so long as I continue a citizen thereof,
so long as I continue a citizen thereof,
and that I will faithfully execute,
and that I will faithfully execute,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
the office of City Councilman
the office of City Councilman
according to law.
according to law.
And I do further solemnly swear
And I do further solemnly swear,
that since the adoption of the present Constitution,
since the adoption of the present Constitution,
I,
I,
Kevin Carmen,
Kevin Carmen,
being a citizen of this state,
being a citizen of this state,
have not fought a duel with deadly weapons
have not fought a duel with deadly weapons
within this state,
within this state,
nor out of it,
nor out of it,
nor have I sent
nor have I sent
or accepted
or accepted
a challenge
a challenge
to fight a duel
to fight a duel
with deadly weapons,
with deadly weapons,
nor have I acted
nor have I acted
as second
as second
in carrying a challenge,
in carrying a challenge,
nor aided or assisted
nor aided or assisted
any person
any person
thus offending.
thus offending.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Evan, you can come forward and have a seat. I just want to end on a couple things. Thank everybody who came here tonight. I was glad I didn't have to make the decision. Second thing, I want to tell everybody here, if you weren't at the program for the Officer Wilt, you missed something. And it was a very moving program. I don't think I've ever been in such a moving program. And it got a lot of news. But I wanted to just kind of give you an update. I'm going to try to keep everybody updated on what's happening with Officer Wilt. They did move him back from Jewish to U of L. He still has pneumonia, but and I don't know what this means, and Aaron might know more than I know. They took him off the ECMO machine, whatever that means, but it is a small progress. So at least he is moving along a little bit. Other than that, I don't have anything else before the city council. We've had a lot of great things going on here this week, and thank you all for coming tonight. I need to hear a motion, and Ronnie always did that motion.
Mayor.
Yes. Oh. Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you, Debbie, for everything.
Thank you, Kevin, or congratulations, Kevin, first and foremost. Mayor, I want to say it's a testament to you with your fun vision to bring all these great things to the city. We had a blast as a team, and it was awesome. I look forward to the next events and what we can do bigger and better. So thank you.
You are welcome.
And the most important thing I want to say on behalf of all of us with the city, I know you join me. Billy, you're in our prayers for a great, successful surgery and a speedy recovery, pal.
Yeah.
Mayor, I make a motion to dismiss this council meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting
Adjourn.
Meeting
Adjourn.
I was saying meeting dismissed. God almighty, my mind is going tonight.
I don't know if he got my number. I would like